Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive with us. Today, we're diving into a question that I'm sure we've all thought about, at some point. City life versus village life.
Right.
And get this, the reason we're talking about this is a YouTube English lesson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you sent this in. Thanks for that. Who knew language learning could be so, deep? So,
Yeah.
expert speaker, you ready to unpack this with me?
Absolutely. This should be interesting to see how an English lesson tackles this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you been thinking about maybe switching up where you live?
Yeah.
Big change. This English lesson is kind of perfect for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It's like you're at crossroads, right? And this lesson is like a signpost.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It's not just telling us which way to go. It's giving us the actual, vocabulary to have this conversation.
Right.
In English.
That's true. That's true. It's a really clever way to approach it. The video uses a dialogue format, kind of like a little play almost, to sort of show the pros and cons of both.
I like that.
And it's interesting because they don't make it seem so simple. It's not just like cities are more exciting or villages are peaceful. It's more than that.
They dig in a bit more.
Yes.
Okay, so let's dig in. On the village side, it talks about peacefulness, being closer to nature, like fresh air. You can hear the birds chirping instead of traffic, right? It's the good life.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole sense of community
Yeah.
where, everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
People look out for each other. It's like a postcard,
It is. And I think that's something that really speaks to people, especially with how fast everything is these days.
Yeah.
Everything's digital. Everything's like right now. And this idea of a simpler, slower pace of life
Yeah.
can be really appealing.
Totally.
And there's always a but, right?
Of course.
It's not all perfect. Like, if you're someone who wants to do big things with their job, a village might not be the best place.
Oh, absolutely. I was reading that something like 75% of Fortune 500 companies are all in big cities.
Right.
So if you really want to climb that ladder, you got to be in a city.
Yeah.
And what about things like, doctors and hospitals and stuff?
Yeah.
You think about specialized care, you're probably going to have an easier time finding that in a city.
And the video talks about that a little bit, that cities just have more options when it comes to things like that, like hospitals, schools, But, and this is important, all of that comes with a price tag, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cities are not cheap. Rent is higher. Groceries. Getting around it adds up so fast.
Yeah.
And speaking of getting around traffic.
Oh, tell me about it.
Oh, man. Have you ever been stuck in rush hour in a big city? Forget it.
The worst.
I bet you could, walk across an entire village faster than you could drive, 3 blocks in the city sometimes.
Yeah. You're probably right. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
You know what's interesting, though, and they kind of touch on this in the video a little bit, the stress is different.
Yeah.
It's like in the city, you've got the sensory overload. Everyone's in a hurry. Got to keep up,
Yeah.
But then in the village, it might be more like everybody knows your business.
Right. Right.
Not as many things to do.
Yeah.
It's almost like trading one for the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there's no this one's better.
Exactly.
That's about what works for you.
Absolutely. And I really like how they use the different characters in the video to show that.
Yeah.
One person might talk about how much they love being in nature, the quiet, and somebody else is like, give me the city. I need the energy. I need all the different things going on.
Right. Exactly.
It really drives home the point that there's no right answer here.
Totally. What works for one person isn't for everybody.
Exactly.
And that's a good thing to remember, right?
Yeah.
What your best friend loves, maybe
Yeah.
your parents, could be totally different for you. You've got to think about what you want,
For sure.
what's actually going to make you happy.
And that's a good point, too, because even what you like can change, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you might be all about the city in your 20s,
Right.
all the excitement.
For sure.
But then later on, you want something a bit quieter, a little more community.
Yeah.
So it's not even like a one-time decision.
Right.
It's like what's good for you right now.
I love it.
What fits into your life at this moment.
It's like you can change it up.
Exactly.
You could write your own story.
Exactly.
And who knows? Maybe it's not even one or the other. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Right.
Imagine you could be in a cute little village, nice and peaceful.
Yeah.
But your job lets you work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Or maybe you live in that village, but every weekend you go to the city.
Right.
Get a little taste of it.
Exactly. Get the best of both worlds.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's becoming more and more common now, especially with so many people working remotely.
That's true.
You can kind of pick and choose what works for you.
Yeah.
You can have it all.
It makes you think, though, how do you actually do that?
Right.
How do you find that balance?
Yeah. Yeah.
You get to make it how you want it.
Yeah, exactly.
And this little English lesson, it gave us a way to think about it all.
It did. It's like that saying, the world is your oyster.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes you need a little help figuring out how to open it up.
A little instruction manual.
Right. Exactly.
And this deep dive, it was kind of like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
We talked about villages, all the good stuff, the peace, the people, then cities, all the excitement, different things to see and do.
Yeah.
And then maybe, just maybe, you can have both.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. It really gets you thinking.
It does. Makes you think about what's important.
What matters to you, yeah.
Where do you really feel at home in the world?
That's a great way to put it.
You
So to everyone listening, what really stuck with you today? Anything surprise you? Give you any ideas? We'd love to hear about you.
Yeah, let's keep this going.
Because the best conversations, they just keep going, right?
Absolutely. Talking with each other, even just thinking about it more yourself.
That's a wrap for this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep those awesome source materials coming our way. See you on the next one.